screen. I'm trying to open this.
This one?
Yeah. Mr. Smarty Pants.
You saw what I did, right?
Yeah, thought I did that, but I guess not. All right, Krishna. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you. Well, what a beautiful group. So we're going to talk about being carried by Krishna's love. So, does anybody feel like they're carried by Krishna's love? Yeah. So there's really nobody else's love that will carry us. You know, there's people who will love us, but we understand that the source of everything is the supreme, right? The supreme source. So the source of love is Krishna. So whatever love that someone may be giving you, where do you think they got it from? You're getting it from Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna. So we have to always see that no matter what's coming to us, then that's coming from Krishna. If it's something that we perceive as bad, then that's probably coming from our own nonsense, huh? Or it could be Krishna is giving us something and we perceive it as bad because it's not what we wanted. We make our own plans, and therein is the difficulty for a lot of us. We make our own separate plans from Krishna. And along with that, making separate plans are demands. I expect this, I deserve this, it should be this way. And so sometimes things may not happen exactly the way you had planned. And you think like, why? Why is God not giving me what I want? Why is he being so cruel to me? So you ever find that? You ever experience that? Yeah. Some people blame God. We've talked about that. You've seen people, I've known people who blame God for things not happening in their life the way they wanted them to happen. And so if we can just back up a little bit and look at the bigger picture, that even though things may not happen the way we absolutely planned or demanded, like a spoiled child, that doesn't mean that Krishna's not loving you. He's not carrying you with his love, you see? Because perhaps what's happening is for your benefit, and it's part of his plan, you see? So the devotee, once we get devoted to Krishna, and we want Krishna to have his way out of love. That's what love means. I want my beloved to get what they want. If we're so much in love, then that's really all we care about. We're not so much concerned about our own share or our own having things go our way, you see, because we're in love, and love makes us feel that way. So when the devotee, one who's tasting some of his dormant love for Krishna, you don't have to taste all of it. You just have to get to where you can taste a little bit. It's so sweet that you start to feel, oh, my dear Krishna, things aren't going the way I planned, but I want your plan. I always like your plan better. In the beginning, it may seem like it's not exactly the way I would have written the story of my journey. You see, I wouldn't have planned it this way. But then I don't know about you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes we make mistakes, don't we? Sometimes we miscalculate. We want our journey to go that way when it really should have gone that way. Hindsight, right? You ever look back? You ever look back and say, oh, man, why did I do that? That was so dumb. Sometimes we'll admit it to ourselves, and sometimes we'll admit it to others. What was I thinking? Why did I do that? You see? So if we're honest to ourselves, we can be very helpful to ourselves. We all want people to be honest with us, don't we? Don't we? Don't we kind of expect that? I mean, we all pretty much demand it. We're going to associate. I want you to be honest with me. We're going to be close. We're going to be friends. Be honest. So, because I want to like you and I want you to like me. So, if I'm going to like myself, I need to be honest with me, don't I? That's really not asking too much of me, asking from me. You know, you can look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, just always shoot me straight, okay? So if we can be honest with ourselves, it's amazing how much progress we can make. But we have to do that. We have to be honest with ourselves. And in that way, we can be honest with everyone, starting with yourself. Be a friend to yourself. How can I be a friend to you if I'm not even a friend to me? At least subtly, people can see that. You're not a friend to yourself. You don't make good decisions for yourself. You don't treat yourself properly. You see, you might make silly excuses for your mistakes instead of learning from them. It's not so bad to admit. What is one of the five most important words I remember hearing in business and where I admit I made a mistake. You can look at somebody and say, I admit I made a mistake. Well, then how can they criticize you? You made a mistake. You owned up to it. That means that you're ready to not make a mistake next time. You've learned from it. See? So that starts with being able to admit to yourself when you make a mistake. You see, I was doing this nonsense or that nonsense. I made a mistake. And I've learned from it. And so now I'm not going to do that again. And if I do, then I'll go on. I'll correct it and I'll move ahead. I'll go forward. See, this is starting to love yourself a little bit. And it'll be helpful to learn to love ourselves if we learn or just get some idea of how much Krishna loves us. All the love that you've ever tasted or experienced came from Krishna. He might have empowered someone else to love you, but he made you lovable. All living entities are his parts and parcels, and he's the supreme, most lovable. So we're part of him. So we're part of that lovable entity, Krishna. So we are completely lovable. No one can ever think, why does no one love me? That's some perception you have. Or maybe you're not behaving in a lovable way. Maybe I'm misbehaving. Perhaps I'm not loving myself. I'm not letting myself love me because I'm doing some dumb things and making dumb decisions, and I won't admit it to myself or anyone else. So at that point, I'm not very lovable, am I? See, if I'm having one of the biggest biggest attended classes I've ever given when I make some yoga tour or anything was entitled, and it happens again and again, Learning to Love Yourself. When I use that title, people come in like crazy because a lot of people are struggling with that very thing, learning to love themselves. I've had so many people say, I think that we just need to learn to love ourselves. So have you heard people say that? Have you? We hear it a lot, don't we? So what does that indicate? It means that there's a struggle within people and themselves. Between you and you're having some struggle with you. You see, something about you makes you feel that you're having difficulty with you. No, you're not loving yourself. This is because you don't know yourself. Do you think Krishna has to love you? Or is it because you just are lovable? It's your intrinsic nature to be lovable completely, totally. He is. Krishna is totally, completely lovable. Well, there's nothing about Krishna that's not lovable. And you are part of that. There is nothing about you, that real you, that's not absolutely lovable. This is part of your reason for existing, to give this loving potency, this loving pleasure to the supreme source of love. He wouldn't create, well, he never has created anything that's broken. You're not broken. Well, you're perfect in every way. Caveat. Don't you hate caveats? No. It's like when somebody says, however, oh, here it comes. Oh, no. You're completely perfect, except your consciousness is broken. You identify with this silly world. You identify with your body. This is your world. And this body is part of this other world. And gee whiz, I'm so crazy about my body. I judge me based on my body. And other people, I feel at least, are judging me based on my body. We're going to talk Saturday about, what's the title for Saturday? How to Become Beautiful. So you should come to Mantra Oasis on Saturday, when it's 4 o'clock. It's going to be a very interesting discussion. How to become beautiful. So, but getting back to Krishna Cove and the now moment. Yeah, you are absolutely perfect, but your consciousness gets a little covered over and you start to think something that's not real. That's the nature of being in an illusory world. Why so many times we are convinced of things that aren't true. Have you ever had that happen to you? You ever had somebody try to sell you something and you think, wow, that's great. And then later on you think, wait a minute, this dumb thing doesn't work. You know, this is not uncommon in our world. This is the world of illusion. It's a world of dishonesty. Well, if you find honesty, that's kind of rare, isn't it? It shouldn't be that way. It's like Abe Lincoln. They called him Honest Abe. Why should you advertise? Why should you have to advertise that you're honest? Shouldn't that just be normal? I've never stolen anything in my life. I just want a chance to steal whatever I can. You know, we hear this all the time. People, one of the greatest political moves and marketing moves is to convince you that you have a problem that you don't have. And I have a product that'll solve it. You see? So this is a world of one person cheating another. This is common. This is not uncommon. What are the 4 defects that we develop when we, these perfect entities, come in contact with this material world? What are those 4 defects?
Imperfect sense.
We have imperfect senses. Our senses don't work properly. Now, we think they do, but they don't. If you turn the lights off, you can't see. So many times you may think something is so, but it's not. Your senses can mislead you, which leads us to the second imperfection. You have a tendency to make mistakes. You can't help it. From time to time, you're going to make a mistake. And thirdly, we have a tendency to cheat. You know, I'll just tell one little lie. That's okay. I mean, it's not going to hurt anybody. So if I'm lying to you, I'm lying to me too, aren't I? See? So imperfect senses, you have a tendency to cheat. You have a tendency to make mistakes. And we have a tendency to be overcome by the material illusory energy. We do. We start to think, I am this body, I am part of this world. And from all of this illusion and making mistakes and cheating and dishonesty, imperfect senses, we may start to think that I'm unlovable or that I'm unloved. If we think that we're unloved enough, we're going to start to think that we're unlovable. And so here we have this epidemic of adhyatmika. Klesh. Klesh is a Sanskrit word that means difficulty, trouble. Adhyatmika klesh is troubles of the mind. You have a problem that only exists between these two ears. Nobody else sees it but you, which might make you a little frustrated with the other guy. Wonder, why don't you see my problem? Well, because it's in your head. So that's the worst of all the challenges, the mental challenge. There's two more. There's threefold miseries. One is adidivaka klesha. Adidivaka means like a drought or a flood. Tornado. We just had some tornadoes rip through somewhere in the Midwest. You read about that? It's like 13 people killed. So this is adidivaka klesh. Troubles caused by, some people call it acts of God. You know, like Krishna says, I think I'm going to mess those people up down there. Come on. Just to be mean? No. So there are reasons, and we'll get into that later on maybe. And then adibodhika klesh. Troubles from other living entities, like mosquitoes. Don't you hate it when mosquitoes are flying around? You know, snakes, people. Most of our troubles from other living entities come from people. You have a lot more problems with people than you do snakes, don't you? You know. So in this world of illusion, we have a tendency to be a little dishonest, even with ourselves. Sometimes we convince ourselves that I'm unloved. Enough of that makes you feel totally unlovable. So we're going the opposite way from the truth, aren't we? In other words, we have fallen into illusion. You see? Then you may find someone that says, hey, try this belief, this faith. I can teach you that you're God. Whoa, no, you got my interest. Oh, I'm God. Yeah, you're God. I'm God. We're all God. So then you try that. Well, as it turns out, sooner or later you realize that you're really not God. You know, if you're fortunate, very soon you'll come to that realization. You are part and parcel, but you're not the supreme controller. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. If you were, then you would have done things a whole lot differently now, wouldn't you? You'd be a little bit more honest with yourself and you wouldn't fall into illusion. Right? You ever been in illusion? Yeah. It's hard to stay out of it for very long. So then how can I be God? If I'm God and I can fall into illusion, then I'm not God, and illusion is God. Maya is God. Well, that's not true. So this is just simple logic. So I'm going to read a little bit from Bhagavad Gita, and please stop me at any time with comments, questions, or any discussion. So we're going to talk about being carried by Krishna's love. If you're not carried by Krishna's love, then you're just not being carried. We have to come to the realization that there is nothing else. Sometimes we find very wonderful people, and they're very loving, because somehow or other they've been empowered by the source of love to give some love. Once in a while, you'll meet someone that can actually love sincerely. Other than your mother or your father, they're going to love you sincerely. A lot of the time they are, you know. Some people say, but those people who are empowered to love sincerely, that sincere love comes from the sincere lover, the source of sincere love, Krishna. So, Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, 20th verse, Krishna says, those who study the Vedas and drink the soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Boy, that sounds great, doesn't it? Godly delights. Sign me up. So what is he saying here? Those who study the Vedas and drink the soma juice. So there are people, Yeah, Kool-Aid. Yeah. There are people who study the Vedas and practice the Vedic rituals to get some higher gain. I want a better birth. By next birth, I'd like to be living on the heavenly planets. The heaven that a lot of or some religions speak of is really still here in this material world, but it really is heavenly. Like Indralok. You've heard of Indralok? Why, it's heavenly, and you live there for 200,000 years, maybe longer. Weather is perfect. Your outer covering, your body is very beautiful. Everyone you meet is very beautiful. Everything is really sweet. Practically speaking, there's no disease. There's no old age until maybe 6 months before you have to leave that body. So you can actually go there. You can perform Vedic rituals and earn a trip to the heavenly planets. You see? But it's like checking into a 5-star hotel resort, and you give them your credit card. You know how when you check into a hotel, they always want a credit card up front. You can't check in without giving them. So you give them your credit card, and they run it through the machine, and you've got, let's say, $50,000 limit on your card. So you can stay there and eat these 5-star foods and drink 5-star liquor and have 5-star fun for as long as that $50,000 lasts. That's your punya. Punya comes from performing the Vedic rituals so that you advance. So that next life you go to the heavenly planets. But when it runs out, when your punya runs out, just like when the credit card runs out, they come and they knock on the door. It's checkout time, sir. Well, I like it here. Well, credit's gone. Time to go back to Earth. Go back. So here you go. You come back here. And you have to do that again, maybe. So Krishna says, purified of sinful reactions, because all of this acquiring punya will cleanse you. But then you're going to go to the heavenly planets and you're going to be maybe a little sinful, Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. Wow. Can you see the travel brochure? Godly delights. So next verse, Krishna says, when they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure, and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, credit card ran out, punya is finished, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the 3 Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. Dang. not eternal. I mean, it's for a long, 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 long time. But ultimately, when that punya runs out, you have to come back. To come back here where you came from. What did you achieve? You had a really great time, fantastic vacation, but you just continued birth and death. You came back here. You left your body there and you took another body here. You didn't do anything to prevent that cycle of birth again, which means disease, old age, ultimately death. We need to stop that. Going someplace for a 2,000-year party isn't going to do that. See? I mean, you can go. Don't let me stop you if you think, well, I want to go check this place out. All right. We can't teach you, but you could find the teachings to probably get there. We're not going to teach you, though. If you want that, we're in the wrong place. We can teach you how to end that cycle. Then Krishna says in the 25th verse of the 9th chapter, those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. You'll come to me if you worship me. Now, this makes a lot of sense. If you worship whatever you worship, that's probably going to be predominant in your mind when you leave this body. In whatever, at the time of death, whatever's predominant in your thoughts opens the door for your next birth. I skipped a verse, but that's okay. It was Krishna's arrangement. This will make more sense. Krishna, I'm going to leave that until the end. I think that's Krishna's arrangement. In the next verse, Krishna says, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. Now that sounds pretty loving, isn't it? He's not saying you got to build me a big, beautiful marble palace. What's he asking? Can you offer me a flower? I'll provide you with the flower. Flowers come from me. If you have that desire to offer me a flower, if flowers don't come from God, where do they come from? Who was the first guy that thought of the concept of a flower? Krishna. So he says, if you offer me with love and devotion a leaf, patram, patra is leaf, flower, pushpa, fruit or water, I will accept it. I just want a leaf, flower, hunk of fruit. I'll give you the fruit. Or water, I'll give you the water. I just want you to think of me when you're taking that fruit instead of grabbing it and thinking, oh, I'm going to eat. Oh, let me offer this with love to Krishna. Came to me from him, I should at least thank him by making some offering. You see, Krishna says, if you offer me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. That's a guarantee. Then he goes on, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So now he's getting a little bit more demanding, isn't it? At first it started with a leaf, fruit, flower, water. Okay, so I started offering my fruits and flowers and leaves and water to him. Now here he is. Whatever you do and whatever you eat. Oh, there's more to it. Whatever you offer or give away. And whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So whatever you do, Krishna wants you to think of him. He wants you to offer everything not just the fruit and the flower. He wants everything you eat. Offer that to me. You do some austerity, do that as an offering to me. It's like going to the gym. That's kind of an austerity, isn't it? Can we do that as an offering to Krishna? Why, certainly. You're occupying his temple. Your body is his temple. You should take, if Krishna lets you stay in his house, wouldn't you take it real nice care of it? You know, you rented an Airbnb from Krishna. You think you'd take really nice care of it, wouldn't you? So, yeah. So you would eat properly, you would exercise properly. This is for his temple. It's an offering. You can do that. Whatever you offer or give away. If you're going to give something away, do that as an offering to Krishna. That's not so hard to do, is it? If I'm giving charity, I want to give charity in a mode of pure goodness. I'll give charity to please Krishna, not to make myself look generous and get people to think that I'm really a special guy. No, we don't want any of that. I do it if I think it'll please Krishna, then I'll give this away. I'll give this charity. If I don't think it'll please Krishna, I'm not going to do it. You see? This is kind of what he's asking for. Then he goes on, in this way, you will be freed from bondage you'll be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. Wow, he's going to relieve you of karma. Because you're doing it as an offering to him, there's no karma attached. If you do that for me, then I'll free you from any reaction from your actions. Well, that sounds like a pretty good deal, doesn't it? With your mind fixed on me, in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Renunciation. He wants you to renounce. He's not saying sell your house, give the money away, and go live in the desert, sleeping under a different cactus every night. He's not saying that. He wants you to renounce the results of your activities. If you do them to please him, knowing that the results belong to him, you can accept the results, but you're going to use them the best way you can to serve him. I mean, you have to keep some to feed yourself and to pay for transportation and your travel, shelter. You've got to pay for certain things you have to pay for. Whatever you can, you use it in Krishna's service as an offering. You did it. You're earning your money. You did that activity as an offering to him. So therefore, the result is purified. So now you're karma free. That feels good, doesn't it? With your mind fixed on me and this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Then in the next verse, he says, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Now he's going to be your friend. Regardless, he's your dearmost friend and ever well-wisher. Shuridam sarvabhutanam. He says that. I'm your dearmost friend, your best friend. But because you're doing these wonderful, loving things to me, I have a right, even though I'm not partial to anyone, I have a right to give you some special attention because of the way you're showing your love for me. Well, I have a duty. You're loving me so much, I have a duty to reciprocate. You see? I envy no one. Well, who would Krishna envy? Nor am I partial to anyone. Then in the 34th verse, this is a very famous verse, Krishna says, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So you can see what he wants. I want you to come to me. I'm giving you the roadmap on how to come to me. You may say, well, I'm just not ready for that. That's okay. It's not like a one-time offer. Krishna's not going to withdraw the offer. It doesn't expire. You know how you get these things? I don't know about you, but you get these things from banks, 12 months interest free on charges and transfers. They're always trying to get you to take out a credit card or something like that. But this offer ends midnight tomorrow night. You got to go now. Krishna's not doing that. This is an open offer. Are you going to be good to yourself and you're going to be your friend? Remember we talked about that? Are you going to do something to make you like yourself for doing it? Take him up on this offer. You see, then you'll think, I'm pretty smart. I can make some really good decisions for law. And if I can take care of me, I can take care of you. If I can become a shelter for myself, then I can be a shelter for you too. You see, I'm starting to know how to work this loving thing, starting with me. This is a good deal Krishna's putting on the table. You see, doesn't expire. The problem is we will expire. Will you expire before you take the deal? Are you going to have a human birth the next time? Are you guaranteed that you'll have a human birth next time and you'll be able to take this deal again? I don't know. Prabhupada said at the time of death, if you're not thinking of Krishna, if you haven't lived your life in this devotional way, destination unknown. Who can make that guarantee? Krishna will give, he's giving you the guarantee. Surely you will come to me, he says, if you do like this. If you don't, then what is your guarantee of your next destination? We don't have a clue, do we? So this is the one that I skipped over. Very famous Bhagavad Gita verse. Chapter 9, verse 22. Krishna says, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack, and I preserve what they have. That's loving, isn't it? Those who always worship me with exclusive devotion. Wait a minute. Krishna wants you to be exclusive, right? It's like relationship between man and woman. They date for a while, and sooner or later, if it's really going well, one or both of them want to take the relationship to the next level. No, I don't mean get a room. I thought that was funny. Okay. Tough room, isn't it? Want to take it to the next level. Can we be exclusive? Like, I really like you. I like you a lot. Can we be exclusive? Well, that happens in relationships as they start to really mature. So Krishna is asking, I want you to worship me with exclusive devotion. Talk about getting to the point, huh? Krishna is saying, can we be exclusive? I don't mean worship me on Sunday or Wednesday or no, I I want all of your thoughts. I want all of your actions. I want you to do what you do as an offering of love to me. I want you to think about me. When you fall in love with somebody, don't you want them to think about you? I want exclusive devotion. If you love me, if you worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, why does he want you to meditate on his form? Why not? Why can't I just go be one with everything? Krishna is everything, right? Everything comes from him, therefore he is everything. Why is he saying, I want you to meditate on my transcendental form? Yeah. He knows that he'll knock you off your feet. Why, you get a glance of this, you're finished. As long as you keep it on an impersonal level, then he doesn't get a chance to steal your heart. But if you meditate on that transcendental form, you see that beautiful face of Krishna's, you're finished. He knows that. I want you to see my form, not your imagined concept. If you're talking about the impersonal conception of God, there's no picture of it, right? Because there is no personal, so you have to imagine it. It's whatever you think it is, in your head anyway. Does that make any sense? Krishna says, no, I want you to meditate on my form. I want you to see me. And if that doesn't make you fall in love with me, then nothing will. But it will. It works 100% of the time. The most attractive, most loving form, the most lovable form, beautiful form of Krishna. And he wants you to meditate on it. He wants you to worship, meditating on my transcendental form. Now, if we can be exclusive, if you'll focus on my form, if I can get your attention on me and my beauty, now here's the deal. If you'll do that, exclusivity, not worship anybody else, just me, and not just me, my form, meditate on my beautiful form. If you'll do that, I'll carry whatever you lack. That means whatever you don't have, I will provide. Whatever you need, whatever you want, I'll give it to you. This guy's a real salesman, isn't he? And I'll preserve everything you have. It won't cost you anything. Nobody will take away from you. I'll preserve whatever you have, and I'll carry what you lack. I'll carry it. So that's being carried by Krishna's love. So we can see in this 9th chapter, Krishna has shown how you can go this way or you can go that way. You can say, my dear God, sounds like a heck of an offer, but I don't really want to be exclusive. I don't want to look at that form of yours because you're going to steal my heart. I know what you're up to. I know what you're up to. I want to enjoy interest planet. I want to go to the heavenly planets and enjoy. Okay, so it's temporary. Someday I'll have to come back here. But that's worth it. Because I don't want to make this commitment. I don't want to be exclusive with you or anybody. I'm exclusive with me. And I want to enjoy. I want to go to Indralok so I can enjoy the topmost level. So you could go that way, and that's okay. But you'll end up coming back here after a long time. And it's like that. It's really one thing I think you might have learned from going to India for a long time. When we first got there, remember back last October, it was like, wow, we've got like almost 5 months to be in India. We're going to be in Mayapur till like February. It's like, oh, all this wonderful time to be here in this most wonderful place in the whole world. And then after a few weeks, it's still like a long time before you leave. And after a couple of months, it's still a long time before we have to leave. But boy, this trip's halfway over. And you start to be in anxiety because we only have 2.5 months left here. And some people might say, well, that's still a long time. Who even goes there for that long? Oh, I don't want to leave. This is wonderful. Then before you know it, we're arranging for the car to come and get us, to take us to Kolkata. Or Kalyani. We went to Kalyani on the way. You see, before you know it, it's time to go. You got to pack up the bags, get ready to go. It was a wonderful trip, but it had a duration. You see, so even going to Indraloka has its duration. Maybe a long time, but it's going to have an end. You see, and you end up coming back here. So, or you could go the other way and start to work with Krishna, polish up your loving devotion, offer what you eat, offer what you think, offer what you do, be exclusive. You see, meditate on his beautiful form. And he says, okay, now I'll carry you. I'll do that. If you want to go out on your own and plot a course to some other adventurous planet out there, be my guest. But you're going to wind up right back here. You see? Now, if you want to get out of here and not come back here, well, then you're going to follow the instructions. He's drawing you a roadmap if you want to be liberated for good. So we'd need to actually want that. We can manipulate the material energy for only so long. You see? So are there any questions or comments? Yes.
So, we can go to like Krishna's log. We are having this material nature, right? But still, if we figure out that we are not this body, and then if we can go to that, like Krishna, that go to the home, like Krishna's place, then how can we come back here? Like, what could make us come back? Is that God's order, or is that like, how do we get illusioned in that world? Here we get illusioned, that makes sense, but in that world, what makes us come down?
There's illusion there too. Maybe even more. We have to perform puja, some offering. We do some tapasya, some austerity, to get the punya so that our next birth will go to that heavenly place.
Not heaven, I mean, if we go to Krishna's like abode.
Oh, when you go back to Krishna.
Yeah.
Oh, well then he guarantees, no, you won't come.
So we are never coming back from there?
Unless you want to.
So what makes us that like to want to come back?
All the things that he was saying. Worshipping my transcendental form. Well, you wanted to leave to come here to be away from Krishna.
I mean, like people still fall from that log, right? And so what makes them so foolish to come back?
To come here the first time?
Second time or like that?
Second time, you're probably not going to do it. Now you could, but Krishna says you won't.
Okay.
Because you left perfection, you left Krishna, and you came here to be all you can be without Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, you have to come into illusion. It's not a punishment. Krishna's the source of everything. He's the source of all pleasure, source of all love. Why, everything is his energy. I mean, this is Krishna. How can I go be away from him? It's not possible. He is everything. But that's what you want. I need to be away from you, Krishna. I want to see what it's like to be out on my own. Maybe I can be you. Maybe I can be God. After all, he's very beautiful. You're part of that beauty. Well, you're very beautiful too. He's complete in all these opulences. Well, you're pretty opulent yourself. Why can't I do it? You see? So, but that's not possible. So he has to create a world that's illusory so you can come here and not know that, why, everything I see is Krishna. If it was the real, if it was an illusion and you came here, like the pure devotee of Krishna, he sees everything is Krishna. You see? I know that this table is not Krishna's beautiful face, but it's his energy. All the molecules, everything, the atoms, they're all emanating from him, like the sunlight comes from the sun. You see? But I want to get away from him. I want to see what it's like to be out on my own. So therefore, I need illusion. Otherwise, wherever I look, I would see Krishna. I would see what I'm trying to get away from. You see? It's just his kindness. You want to get away? That's not possible. But let me help you to believe that you're away. And this energy of his, this Maya, she is so expert, so potent, that she can actually bewilder you, and you think maybe there even isn't a God. Maybe I don't even believe in God. Maybe there's nothing you can say to convince me there's a God. You see, you're not seeing God in everything. So that's possible for many people who don't even believe that God exists. So this is the perfect place for you to bring your consciousness to be unconscious of the Supreme, even though this is all him. It's kind of funny when you think about it. I'm looking for God, but some people say, where is he? The devotee says, where is he not? You see, he's everywhere. So we came here and we did it. We struck out on our own. We're being all we can be. Hare Krishna. Are you being all you can be? No? So here we are. Now we want to go back. I've had enough of this. I've had enough of illusion. I want reality. Illusion is not truth. It's the opposite of truth. That which is not real. So I want truth. So I have to return to what's true. And once I get back, I'm not going to come back here. I mean, you'd probably come back if Krishna said, would you please go back and save some souls? Well, then you'd say, sure. Just don't let me forget you this time. Yeah.
I was just thinking about a couple things because this question seems to come up a lot. How are you so sure that you wouldn't come back to this material world because you still have free will? You know, it's not like when you go back, you become a robot that Krishna controls. The free will's still there. And I was just thinking to myself how even in this world, we could see where someone might have suffered for a long time with let's say, addiction. And then they go through a program like a 12-step recovery program. And they experience some kind of reformation in their life where they don't go back. Do you know what I mean? And I was just also thinking about how I think as illusioned jivas, we downplay the amount of suffering that we've actually been through because we can't remember our past lives either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we don't really understand that degree of suffering that we've been through. But I think even beyond just suffering, I think it's more about love, you know?
It's all about love.
Yeah.
Once that love for Krishna, that dormant love that's within all of us, once that's stoked, like you've been have a campfire and it's burning down, down, down. It's almost burning out. But you take a stick and you poke it, and it starts to, you knock the ashes and it starts to blaze again. And you throw some more wood on there, it blazes.
Yeah.
So this pure love of Godhead is dormant in all of us. It's what we're actually made of. They say, "Oh, you're made of stardust." Maybe my body's made of stardust. I don't know, and I don't care. I don't care what this body's made of. The Jivatma is Krishna's energy. We're here to give him pleasure, to enhance his ecstasy. That just happens to give us great ecstasy when we enhance his ecstasy. I mean, we have to think about that from time to time. How would that make you feel if you've got this most beautiful, most attractive entity in front of you, and you find out that you're empowered to give this source of pleasure, the source of love, to give him a feeling of ecstasy, to enhance that unlimited ecstasy? Well, I mean, that's going to make you feel pretty good about yourself, isn't it? So it's going to be kind of hard for us to depart that once we get it back. It's even hard to understand, why do we do it in the first place? Well, because we have to be engineered to be able to make a mistake. Otherwise, we'd just be a computer program. You see? We have to have free will, or love has no meaning without free will. For love to have a real meaning, I have to be able to offer it or withhold it. You see? So we exercised our free will, and we made a really big mistake. I want to get away from Krishna. Maybe I want to be one with Krishna. Maybe I want this and I want that. I forgot about, what do you want, my beloved? Oh, most beautiful source of love. What is it that you want? As soon as we start to think like that, then we're back home. Now we're starting to function again. You know? Well, now that's a real taste of ecstasy. After being away from ecstasy for billions and trillions of lifetimes, now we're back doing what we're really good at. We're good at enhancing pleasure of the source of pleasure. We're empowered to do that. That's pretty huge. So once we get back in that groove, we're not going to want to stop that again.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I was also thinking about how in this world or in this life, like our conception of love is so limited, you know? So like even the best love that maybe we can conjure up or think about is still lacking in
It's
so
like,
many ways.
our love compared to real love is like Tinker Toys,
Yeah.
kindergarten, you know? It's like,
it's a wavering love. Like in this world, like we may see like love or what we perceived as love. We might have seen how that love wavered at some point.
yeah.
So then we begin to think that all love must be this way, subconsciously.
That defines love.
Right.
It becomes materially defined.
Right.
It's all like that. But then, once we get back and actually get the true definition of love, well, then we're not going to give that up.
Right. So therefore, we think that there's a possibility that we'll leave Krishna again.
Yeah.
Because
and that's logical. Oh my God, what if I leave him again? So you may think, Krishna, I don't want to make that mistake again. He's not going to take away your free will. because then you'd be a slave. There's no taste in that. Yeah.
A question. So, like we have love. We say that mundane love exists, like the mundane, elusive love of the material world, but then also between devotees, and once you become a devotee, you also start feeling real love for all living entities. And we develop relationships. And I noticed that, especially being like brahmachari, and especially like, doing this practice, when someone really engages in this, like we have to have relationships to nourish us in our devotional service. And if you open yourself up, you're also opening yourself up to the ability to be hurt. And like Katish and I were talking how like people who are very serious, they get a very soft heart. And so sometimes it's like, even if you have that love for someone, then you can be hurt really badly. And it almost makes you not, like, you don't want to engage, it's like painful. And that's like, it's not like in the material world, you can get hurt, but you just, I'm tough, I'm going to go through, But then if you're like a devotee and you're trying to be a surrendered soul, then it can be very painful to be like hurt by someone you love.
Someone you've developed love for, and they hurt you. So then you think, well, maybe this love isn't all it's built up to be. Because I feel this pain. But are you willing, and we have to all admit, there's a tremendous potency of being very hurt in this material world because of your desire to love on a higher level. As you become more and more awake of your loving propensity for Krishna, your loving propensity for all living entities gets more and more strong. So you find yourself loving deeper and deeper. And so the tendency to be hurt gets bigger and bigger because you're loving on a higher level, right? So we offer everything to Krishna, right? Are you willing to offer that hurt to Krishna?
Yeah, and that's the thing about it is that, like the material side of you wants to like, get mad and be angry and react, but then that's the real pain of it, is that you just kind of have to just accept it and be humble and just continue on and continue trying to love. And sometimes it's very difficult.
Krishna's petting you on the head, rubbing your back and saying, that's okay. You took a hit for me, didn't you? You love to your capacity, at least at that point. And you got hurt, and you did that for me. How do you think that's going to make him feel? I mean, we could say, I'm going to remain an island, and I'm not going to make myself vulnerable to anybody. I'm going to stay. Well, then how can you serve Krishna with that? I'm going to protect my heart because I don't want to invest that love in anybody. That's not a very nice offering to Krishna. So we're going to get hurt, but Krishna's there to hold your hand and make you feel good.
Well, Krishna's not.
Reaction? No reaction. We don't react.
Krishna's not there. At least Guru's there, right?
At least Guru, God brothers, God sisters, they're there to say, job well done. Sometimes like in special forces, Navy SEALs, they're very interesting, Navy SEALs, special forces. They're willing to offer their life. They do things that, the chances of survival are very slim. You see, out of an offering of love to country and duty. You see? And so, with love, the devotee is willing to offer whatever to Krishna. Everything. I'll offer my love to you. I'm going to offer my love for the living entities to you. Am I going to get hurt? Yes, I know I am. My heart's going to have scar tissue. but I'm doing this for you, and I know this makes you happy. So that puts a real sweet taste in it.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right.
No, it's okay. It's not.
Huh?
That's okay.
No, you can ask.
He doesn't have a question. He's just ready.
Well, I was gonna say that love hurts in the material world, but we don't have the capacity to love as much as Krishna, and the way we're turning away from Krishna hurts Krishna probably more than we've ever been hurt at all. Krishna is hurting for our love, and so the same way that in this material world, you're hurt by love, or lovers quarrel, or one lover doesn't love the other lover. That's kind of like what we're doing to Krishna for a long time, because he's just calling us home, and we're constantly turning away from him.
Well, that's a good thought. But even if we withhold our love from Krishna, he still remains the complete whole. And he still sees that loving side of you. In other words, we didn't change. You see, we didn't change into a different personality. We still are that eternal personality that he's had for eternity and will have for eternity. But for this one little short period, we thought we didn't love him. You see, on this side of time, down here, it's billions and trillions of years. But compared to eternity, that's not even a nanosecond.
Yeah.
This is all going on between your ears.
Yeah.
Krishna's there with you, and you're just having this temporary hiccup.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You see? So it's not like you left, and he's, oh, where did he go? Why did he go?
That's how I thought it was.
Still there.
No, yeah.
Still here.
Wake up, Prabhu.
Yeah, he's trying. We need to wake you up. I want to wake you up. Let me send some devotees. I'll send my holy name. I'll send my pure devotee. I'll send Sankirtan to party. I'll send prasadam. I'll send it all. And I'll get you to wake up. It's not that you left, your consciousness left. You're still there. He's been with you, right beside you, and that's Paramatma. So just this brief hiccup to an eternal living entity, it's so short. But our conception of time, and I'm in this world, and everything has a duration, it's billions of years. It seems like it's been so long to us. You see, in the scope of time, of the scope of eternity, it's like not even a nanosecond. So short, it's immeasurable. So it's not like Krishna's hurting. But even that little brief moment of you not directing all of your love to him makes him yearn for it to come back. Focus on me. I mean, you can hear all through this 9th chapter, he's just pouring his heart out, making you offer after offer after offer. He's trying to cut a deal here.
Maybe we left to see what kind of nectar we can get out of.
Yeah,
You know?
we're holding off to see how sweet he makes the deal. I mean, he gets to the point where I'll preserve what you have and I'll give you anything you want. I don't know. I think it's time to sign. You know?
Yeah.
It's time to go for it. All right. Thank you all so much. All glories to Sri